Okay, now let's start doing some pretty simple JavaScript. So after this presentation, you'll be able to write this simple JavaScript, and also you'll be able to use variables and some simple functions which are part of JavaScript. These are the functions that we're talking about: alert, prompt, confirm. They're all pretty straightforward to use. So we're going to do programming of JavaScript. Where should we put our JavaScript in the web page? Well, JavaScript code can go almost anywhere in the web page. However, there is a common pattern, and this is the common pattern, which is you put your code near the end, just before the /body. Just the end there, that's where you would typically put your code, so the web page has a chance to load before your JavaScript loads. Now, if you're using some libraries, typically you would refer to those in the head. These are not exactly rules, but they're kind of guidelines to make life a bit easier. So, we've got some JavaScript code, we know where to put it. Well, what are the two main ways to handle JavaScript code? So one is you just put your code like this, script/script, and you insert that right into the HTML file where you want it, or at an appropriate place. As long as you've got script/script, you can do that. That's one approach. Another approach is you put the JavaScript code in another file. And then in the HTML, you have this. Tell the HTML to grab the JavaScript code from another file. And then in that file, you just have your JavaScript. No need to put script/script in the other file. Okay? So two possible ways to handle JavaScript. So let's do some simple JavaScript. Let's go through those three functions which are part of JavaScript on the browser side. So let's have a look with alert, which we mentioned before. Bit of text, alert, pretty straightforward. It brings up a window. Just brings up a little window right in front of the web page with whatever message you ask it to show. So let's try that one out. Okay, it's loaded the example. Up comes the little window, and you can see the message, welcome to my page. Very straightforward. All right, let's look at confirm. So confirm, pretty simple again, it displays a pop-up box, but this time you get a chance to make some kind of decision, OK and cancel. Typical example looks like this, some kind of message, OK, cancel. So now you can, that is, the user can make a decision and your code can react appropriately. So let's try this one, very straightforward. Up comes the little window. Want to go to Disneyland, and if we do OK, then the browser is forced to go to Disneyland website. What happens if you don't say OK? Then let's try that. Want to go to Disneyland? Cancel. And then nothing happens for this particular example. Let's look at our code. Let's look at our code for this example. Looks like this. There's our web page. Script is being added in the head area, which is no problem. And we've said immediately run some JavaScript. As soon as this web page loads, it will come down here and then it says, okay, immediately I must run this JavaScript. We run the confirm, we show the message, and if the user presses OK, then we get a positive result from the confirm, and then we go on to the next piece of JavaScript. And that next piece of JavaScript, it forces the browser to go to a particular website. However, if you look at the window and you press the cancel button, the second button, then it will not go to any of this code. And in this example, it will do nothing. Okay, let's talk about variables very briefly. Now, if you've done any kind of programming before, you'll know about this. Basically, variable is like a box, and you can put something in the box. So here I made a variable, and I put a number 7,000 in that variable. Later, I can take the number out of the box, 7,000, and I can use it. I can display it, do some maths, whatever I like. All right? I could also change what is stored in that variable whenever I like. Now we're talking about variables, so we can use it for our next example. So here we make a variable, and then we use the third function we're looking at, prompt, and that displays a message and it gives the user a chance to type some text in. Whatever they type is then stored in the variable and later we can use it. So let's do that. Let's use our prompt. It looks like this. You get a chance to type something in. Let's try it for real. So there's the little window. What is your name? Type in your name, something like that. Press OK. In this example, the name is stored in a variable and it is used. So I entered it, it got stored in a variable, and then it got used in the web page. The web page shows whatever I typed in. So there's one piece of text, there's another piece of text. That piece of the text is what I typed in, and there's also a third piece of text right at the end, one single character. Let's continue with the presentation. So here's the code of the example we just saw. As soon as the web page is loaded, it makes a variable and then it runs the prompt function. What's your name? Whatever the person types in is stored in the variable. And then we use that. We use that in a little message. We have our third line of code and it says browser, immediately write something inside the document. In other words, inside the web page, and write a message, welcome to my page. And then whatever the user typed in from the prompt window, show that. And then the third piece of text, exclamation mark. So I typed in David, so it shows David. Welcome to my page, David, exclamation mark. That's just an illustration of how we could use prompt, and that's the end of our examples for this presentation.